Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Christian Called Conservative. I just wanted to get on here really quickly just to talk about what's going on at the Texas border, Texas-Mexico border. I have not gone there myself. I am just giving you information based on what I've read, what I've seen on the internet, the news, things like that, and just to share some concerns and some questions and express some things. So as always, give this a thumbs up if this was informative, helpful to you. Consider subscribing to the channel. Drop some comments down there, questions, comments, concerns down there. So let's chat. Let's chat. I am not going to pretend that I understand what it's like to flee a country. I'm not going to pretend to understand that I know what it's like to have to be terrified for my life and make the decision to leave my country to go to another one. I'm not going to pretend to do that. Some of these folks are leaving desperate situations. Some of them are leaving fear of their life, economic situations. Some of them are fleeing from being sex trafficked, drug cartel, things like that. I hear that part, but I'm talking about the ones who are taking advantage of this open door policy we have apparently, and the welcome mat has been put out. I'm talking about those people. I'm talking about the people who are being used by the cartel to cross the border with drugs, and using children as pawns to get them across the border. The scary thing about all this is COVID is still a thing. And if you've seen the videos, you've seen images on the internet, and you see these kids and these people that are packed like a bunch of sweet potatoes wrapped up in foil, it's very terrifying. COVID is still real. COVID is still out there. And some of these people are being tested and being sent off into the country, with positive, with negative, some who haven't been tested, some who have been tested. It's just a very scary idea. And then I actually, on the other day, heard that now they're having to test little girls at age 10 for pregnancy, and that there was actually one at age 12 who came up positive for pregnancy. That doesn't even make sense to me in my head. I don't even understand how a 12-year-old could be pregnant, but we do know that some of these folks that are you could see like these pictures on these images, and you'll see the little girl with this adult, and you would think it's their parent, but sometimes it's not even their parent. They're just using these kids to get across the border and just to seek asylum. And a lot of them are being sexually abused, sexually molested, and just being used for their own agenda, for these adult men agenda. So it's a scary thing. So another thing regarding this topic that I want to talk about was that today there was a particular female political figure. I won't mention any names. She went on this rant, this speech, whatever you want to call it, about different vocabulary words, that this wasn't a surge and this wasn't a crisis, and these, migrants or children and things like that. So I wanted to look up some of these words and see exactly what does Webster say about these words, and to see if she's actually right or not. Again, based on the Webster dictionary, some of these vocabulary words that she used. So let's take a look at what Webster says about the word surge. So a surge, according to Webster, to rise suddenly to an excess or abnormal amount. I would think that these children that are coming from up compared to 2019, kids that were coming per day was 208. Before President Trump completely shut the whole thing down, 208 kids per day at 2019, and then now we're at 565 children a day. That's on average. Of course, there's some days that are higher than others, and I would think that is a sudden rise, wouldn't you say? Let's look at something else. So she said that these aren't insurgents, and that these are children. Well, according to Webster, insurgent, a person who revolts against civil authority or an established government. Well, I would like to think the United States is an established government, and even though our current president has opened up has laid out the welcome mat, I would still believe that this is a revolt against a civil authority. I would think that this is people who are like coming in, doing their own thing, when they're slipping in drugs in burritos and putting it in backpacks. I would think so. I would think so. And also she said this whole thing about using these terms was considered white supremacy. Nice words, right? So that's just really her attempt to kind of separate and get people scared. Okay, let's look at white supremacy according to Webster. The belief that the white race is inherently superior or other races, superior to other races, and that white people should have control over people of other races. Yeah, no. I think it's just a matter of some of us wanting some control of what's going on down there, some type of order, so that you don't have a whole bunch of people who are coming in as if there's just no rules. And to be honest, when you look at the images online, images, that's circulating, these videos, there's no order. There's no civil order at all. It's kind of like, come on guys, let's come on in. And there's got to be some order, some direction. So it's not a matter of white supremacy and being racist. It's a desire to have some order. We can't have an established nation if everybody and their cousin just comes on in. Now, please understand, I'm not saying that we need to close our doors and not let anybody in. That is, I'd be a hypocrite, because I myself am someone who came into the country from another country. I came legally. I came with papers. I came and did what I was supposed to do, and then later became an American citizen. So, which is another story from another time. But there was order. There were rules that my parents and I followed in order to abide by, this nation that let us in. Okay, there are certain rules. Again, we didn't flee for our life, but there are still rules. There is still an order in which you do things in accordance to where you are. You can't just do laissez-faire. So I'm so sick of this whole white supremacy and this a race thing or whatever. No, I think it's a desire to have some type of order. You can't have no borders. You can't have you just have to have some kind of there has to be some type of protection for those who are here, for the established people who are here. Again, I'm not saying shut it down, not let anybody in, but there has to be there has to be some rules, and there has to be some guidelines, and there has to be some repercussions for breaking the law. But what I'm seeing right now is just come on in. We'll make sure you're not pregnant. We'll make sure you don't have COVID. But if you do, just wear a mask. And that's another story for another time. But for me personally, I'm just not seeing any. I'm not seeing any rules or any order. So, Miss Political Figure who wants to throw out these words and say it's not a surge, or they're not insurgents, that they're little children. Yes, they are little children, but I'm really sorry. According to the dictionary, this is a surge. This is a crisis. Oh, I forgot to share crisis. The definition of crisis. This is a good one too. Hold on. Okay. So according to Webster, crisis, a time of intense difficulty, trouble, or danger. A time when a difficult or important decision must be made. Yeah, a decision needs to be made, Mr. President, of how to protect who you have here, how to protect those little kids who are coming. But definitely a time of intense difficulty, I would say so. I would say the people of Texas are pretty much concerned about their livelihood, as we have folks, whether it's legit needing asylum, cartels, drug lords, rapists, whatever, good citizens, bad, scary. We don't know who's who. There needs to be some type of vetting. So anyway, like I said, I just wanted to come on here and chat with you really quickly about what's been going on at the border. Definitely put your comments, questions, concerns on the bottom. Give this a thumbs up. Let me know what you think. I thank you so much. I look forward to reading the comments and throwing in some questions about all this is going on. As always, I thank you. I thank you once again. Thank you for joining Christian Called Conservative, and I'll see you soon. God bless.